Hello everyone, this is CRAFTSMAN with another Dawn of the Tiberium Age video. As you know, one of the great things about DTA are all of the missions that it has, including several campaigns. And I'd like to do some tutorials on these since, especially on the hardest difficulty, many of these can be quite difficult to actually complete. So today we're going to be doing the mission Operation Curfew Breaker on hard difficulty. My first tip for beating this on hard difficulty is actually to start on the easier difficulties. There's a lot that you can learn from them so that it's less of a dump of information when you play on hard, and there's a bunch of extra stuff. So I've already beaten this on easy and normal difficulty. On easy difficulty, I found it to be pretty easy. If you are a new player to Dawn of the Tiberium Age, it'll be not too difficult, not too much of a headache. Normal difficulty is a bit harder, and if you have some experience with DTA, it'll be a good match for you. Or if for a player like me who's played for many years, it's a nice casual difficulty if you don't want to struggle and have to restart a bunch of times, save and load to try to beat the mission. Hard difficulty though, I have beaten it on hard difficulty already. I'm recording the voice for this after I beat the mission since it's pretty difficult, and I know I wouldn't have been able to talk and play at the same time. So basically, hard difficulty is quite a notch up from normal. Would be nice if there was something in the middle there, but we are limited to only 3 difficulties. But I found it to be quite nice. It's quite a challenge, and it was quite a puzzle for me to figure out how it's possible to beat. And that's something DTA is known for in its missions, is for the hardest difficulty to really be pressing the limits of what's possible. And this does that pretty well. So some other tips if you want to beat it on the hardest difficulty. You can play at a lower frame rate. So in the settings, you can choose the frame rate you want to play at. I believe it goes down to 10 or 15 FPS. And this will allow you to just have more battlefield control. You can see stuff coming sooner, and gives you more time to give orders so you can have better micro, and also more time to plan and stuff like that. And the other thing to do is to save frequently and load saves if things go particularly badly, because you can probably do better if you load and know what's going on. This will also help make the mission easier in another way, because a lot of the attacks are randomized, but if you save the game after an attack is already spawned, then every time you load that save, it'll be the same attack. So it'll make it a lot easier to plan ahead and prepare, and kind of take the randomness out of it. For me, I had a bit of a difficult time beating this. For the sake of the video, I played without using saves at all, and also played on 60 FPS, which is the kind of the normal speed for if you're playing multiplayer or skirmish like I usually do. And so it took me a good number of attempts to beat this, and it would probably be a lot easier if you followed those tips. We're almost ready to start watching the footage. The very beginning was pretty hectic. On all 3 difficulties, the beginning is pretty much the same. So basically what I do is I put all of my units on hotkeys that I want, and then I use my exo power suit to take out a few key targets and let my infantry clean up everything else. So let's get started and see what happens. So as you can see here, I move my exo power suit forward, and then I get my hotkeys all arranged. Then I take out the 2 buggies, and then the infantry can handle everything else just fine. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this concrete barrier to my advantage to allow me to get a kind of a surround on my enemies so that they can't overwhelm me with their numbers. But the next wave of enemies doesn't move in until one of your units move out. So I send this tank up front to trigger that attack wave and then retreat him back. So I have my tanks and my MLRS all going in. Once the flame tanks are destroyed, you can move in with the infantry. I'm using my Exo Power Suit, but not letting him get too low on health, as he's quite a valuable asset. And that's that for the first attack. So the next thing to consider here is where you want to put your base. Right there where we started is a very good spot with the blue Tiberium, and there's, I believe, 2 green Tiberium trees nearby and another one further north. This is not what I am doing in this case, as there are some other options. Very early in the game, a Nod MCV moves into the southeast corner where I'm scouting with my Humvees now, and it'll set up a base there. So regardless of where you've set up base, it's a good idea to make some engineers right away and send them down to capture the base, or you can just destroy it with your starting units. But capturing allows you to at least sell it to get some stuff back. But for me, I'm a Nod main, and what I found helped me beat this mission was to actually capture the base and use some Nod units. So you can see I'm building my engineers now, but I'm not going to capture the base right away. I'm going to actually keep my main base here, and there's a big blue Tiberium patch to the right with a tree that will give me good starting resources, but it doesn't have as many as the north base for later on. As you can see, I'm waiting to capture it until the refinery is built, because that way I can capture the refinery. The engineer is a lot cheaper than building a refinery. Plus it'll allow me to get 2 refineries up sooner. So what I'm doing now is scouting. I'm using my infantry in the north and my tanks to clear out the turrets, the Humvees to scout further down, and this will come into play later. So I got an airfield, and I'm building 2 more harvesters. So what this will do is give me a very early 2 refinery, 4 harvester economy, which is pretty good. I'm also building a comm center, and this is very important for the plan that I am going to be using here. I'm not really beating this in a straightforward method, although it's certainly possible to beat straightforward. This was the first method that actually worked for me to beat it, and as you can see, I'm building 3 stealth tanks. So while we're waiting for those to build, I also built a repair pad, and this is very important for keeping my units alive, my mammoths at full health, the Exo Power Suit. It's pretty easy to get the Exo Power Suit to elite, and then it's a very useful tool in this mission. But as you can see, we've got these black units attacking us. These units are not on the easy and medium difficulty, and the one special thing about them is that they are all, I believe they are all elite. But one of the things that makes it so difficult are these infantry attacks right here, composed of elite chem warriors, elite rocket infantry, and flamethrowers. My method for dealing with those is to build flame tanks and use the Exo Power Suit and mammoths, and advanced guard towers to kind of soak the damage, since they're easy to repair. After beating this mission, I talked to some people to find out what techniques worked for them, since I beat this in a kind of non-standard way. And one thing they suggested to do was to use grenadiers. I personally don't have much luck with grenadiers. I'm not very good with them. But it does make sense that they would be useful here, as they outrange the chem warriors and the rockets. They're good against both infantry and vehicles. The key would be probably to protect them with the advanced guard towers so that they don't get killed, because they are very fragile units. But if you can trick the enemy into attacking the advanced guard towers, they can survive and do a lot of damage. And they're cheap, they build quickly, so that's a good option if you want to play as just GDI. So yeah, one thing that makes this mission so difficult is that the attack waves just get stronger and stronger over time. It's very difficult to keep up with. So that's what my stealth tanks are doing here, is they're going on a special mission to kind of cut down some of the opposition. As you can see, they're working their way across the map, trying not to get killed. You only need 2 stealth tanks to do this technique, but it's a very high possibility that you'll lose one, so bringing 3 makes it more likely for their mission to actually succeed. So yeah, it's very important to keep an eye on your base, keep repairing stuff, keep building turrets. One thing about the base locations is pretty much no matter where you set up, you're going to have to defend from 2 angles, and that's one of the big challenges in this mission. That makes it very interesting, because I tried many different base locations when I was trying to figure out how to beat this, and everyone, you get attacked from multiple angles, so it's a challenge no matter where you set up base. So, as you can see, my XO is elite, my stealth tanks are almost into the enemy base now. Attack waves are still coming. And this is the place where the stealth tanks accomplish their mission. So, interestingly, the enemy has no sensor arrays in this map. So the stealth tanks can go pretty much anywhere they want as long as they don't get close to other units that will detect them. You can hear that obelisk come there. There's obelisks guarding this base, so you have to be very careful to find the right spot where your stealth tanks won't get taken out. But as you can see, I just exposed a black Temple of Nod. And this is the key target here, as destroying it will stop all of the black attack waves. As you can see, I lost a stealth tank. That's why I brought 3 right there. But yeah, here comes another attack wave of all these infantry. They're very tough because they're all elite. But as long as you keep enough units around, then it's possible to survive them.
Insufficient funds. Repairing. Insufficient funds.
So there's it was very interesting to play this because there are lots of different techniques I tried, from MLRS guarding placed behind advanced guard towers to mass mammoth, mass mediums. I tried a bunch of different things, commandos, A-10s, and there were a lot of strategies that were pretty good, but just not good enough for me to win under these extra hard conditions that I've set for myself of not using saves, playing at 60 FPS. So I believe there's a lot of strategies that could work if you have more perfect micro than I have. You're playing on a slower speed and especially using saves. Oh yeah, another thing we gotta watch out for are these Apaches. As you can see, I've already built some rocket infantry and set them to the southern base. I don't have any guarding my north base, which was okay because I had a bunch of mammoths and MLRS. But the Apaches will specifically attack your MCVs, so those are what you need to guard against air. Build the anti-air early enough. So I destroyed the Temple of Nod, so it will stop sending black attack waves. That'll make it quite a bit easier, but the red base is still a formidable opponent. And so I'm going to weaken them by taking out the MCV, which will allow me to start trying to take out some other key targets. But at this point, it's important to transition from this very defensive style while trying to maintain aggression at the same time to take out that black temple to building economy. As you can see, my blue Tiberium field is almost depleted. It has a tree that regenerates slowly, but that is my only source of funds at the moment. So I'm going to have to expand and take some more money. But you'll see that I kind of struggled with a bit here. This was about the furthest that I ever made it on my many previous playthroughs. So I kind of slowed down, made some more mistakes, but since I wasn't having tons of black units being sent at me, I was able to survive despite those mistakes. As you can see, money is out, so it's a good thing that I got that temple destroyed as soon as I did. There's another refinery, and that harvester is going to go and start harvesting this giant green field that's in the middle there. That's a good source of resources. It also has one green tib field that's hidden in the shroud right now. Pretty soon I'm going to start building up my my Nod tech, as Chem Warriors are pretty good. I'm also going to build my GDI tech. The new grenade launcher infantry are pretty good. And I also want to, my endgame strategy here is basically to build a lot of mammoths and just steamroll the enemy base. But I also want to get both the ion cannon and the nuke, because those at the same time can destroy any structures. So all these production structures that are still pumping out tanks to send at my base, I'll be able to start whittling those away without any risk to my units once I have the super weapon combo. But that requires money, and it'll be a little while before I get my money really going.
Unit repaired.
There's still some black units running around, but those are just leftovers.
Unit lost.
As you can see, Red sent an Illuminator as well as a stealth APC. This shows how they're increasing
Not deploy here.
their attack waves over time.
Construction complete.
They also start pumping out groups of 3 Cyborg prototypes,
Complete.
and we'll see those a bit later. So here I'm now scouting the northmost base of Red. It's a lot less heavily defended and also has a lot of resources. So if I can take it out, it'll cut down the opponent's resources a lot. But my plan is actually to capture it so I can get all those resources for myself. I'm building a research lab, getting my nod tech developed.
Construction complete.
Over to the right of this base is the village that you're supposed to rescue. Luckily, there's not a time limit to rescue them, as
Building.
it took me a while
Base is under attack.
before I got around to that.
Repairing. Unit repaired. Construction complete.
So I've now base crawled all the way up to the north base
Construction complete.
and set up a refinery. This will allow me to start harvesting the blue Tiberium up there. You can see my money is actually pretty healthy right now.
Building.
But one mistake I made is I didn't defend my base up there very much, and the AI will keep sending attacks north instead of focusing them all on your this west flank.
Unit
I'm taking out all the SAM sites up here because I'm going to airlift an APC with some engineers in. You can see I'm building that stuff right now. Already got the helipad,
unit ready.
and there's the Chinook. There's the APC, and I got some engineers. And yeah, like I said,
Building.
gotta defend that north, because that's just a lone flame tank and it's doing a lot of damage.
Unit ready. Your harvester is under attack.
One thing to consider while you're microing the Exo Power Suit, as you saw there, it does damage to anything that is in the path of it. So I went ahead and allowed it to attack there because I knew it wouldn't destroy that refinery before it destroyed the target. But you have to be careful that you don't kill your mammoth tanks and your other units. I always move it to the front line or create a hole in my defenses and just pull it back and repair it before the next attack. So as you can see, there's lots of other resource locations, and there's lots of places you can expand. I won't get to expand in all of these locations, but there's lots of other things you can do besides just taking this north base for resources. I failed to pick up my APC there, which is fine. I accidentally dropped it off.
Repairing.
Yeah, you can also take that green base at the bottom left, but you'll have to kind of rebuild your defenses, as that's the direction that most of the forces are coming from in my situation. I would also recommend building a sensor array. I neglected to build one, but depending on how heavy your defenses are, where they could target somewhere else. Here's one of those triple cyborg attack waves. So one thing I didn't realize until I was watching this footage afterwards is I think these cyborgs, they're actually spawning at the bio-research lab that is in the captured village. I thought they were being produced from the normal Hands of Nod, since the AI has 3 of them. But in this footage you can see where they spawned in next to that bio lab in the village. So my guess is that it is scripted so that once you capture the village, it will actually stop those cyborgs from spawning. So if you want, you can try that technique and see if my guess is true, and that should make the mission quite a bit easier, since these groups of 3 cyborgs did quite a bit of damage over time in the areas that I didn't have defended very well. So I'm moving out my engineers and also my cyborg prototype.
Building.
Just getting ready for the northern invasion.
Unit report. Reporting.
Your harvester is
I've got the nuclear strike and I'm building the ion cannon uplink, so soon I'll have the super weapon combo. There's the Apaches targeting my MCV again, but I had the rockets there. The nice thing about rockets is that they will get veterancy and even get to elite pretty quickly from killing Apaches, and then they become excellent Apache killers and are also good for other stuff if they become a last line of defense or something like that.
Construction complete. Building.
So I'm building more stealth tanks, and that's just so I can try to use them to pick away at the other units across the map, at the production structures and stuff, since I know I can get into that base without being detected, but there's a lot of stuff protecting it there, so if I get enough stealth tanks, I can probably do some damage. But yeah, if you can see the north base here, it has 1 green type, 2 green trees nearby. So if you just decide to start your base there, you can move it right where the crossroads is, and take that first green base, and then crawl up a little bit to the northeast, build your defenses, so you can harvest from that other field safely.
Unit ready.
There are 2 little Nod outposts in between my base and the enemy base, guarding the 2 bridges that are accessing it. That's why, the main reason why I'm airlifting my units is because those would prevent me from just walking my stuff over. I mean, of course I'd have to get over this cliff too, but those little bases, they're pretty easy to take out, but you have to take resources away from defending your main base. So I put a weapons factory up there. I've got quite a bit of money, so I'm going to start cranking mammoths out in my enemy's main base. And I'm going to start weakening up these units, because I'm afraid that they're going to retaliate against me and take out everything that I've captured. So something interesting just happened here. I'm not sure exactly what triggers these to spawn, if it's a time trigger or if my nuclear strike triggered it, but that right there are 6 elite cyborg prototypes. They just spawn next to those tech labs up there, and they're going to be a problem for me. As you can see, they just completely erased all my progress towards capturing that north base, and now they're moving towards my main. This is the first and only time that I encountered these guys while I was trying to beat this mission, so I'm trying to figure out in the footage here what I'm going to do about them. And there's recon bikes everywhere. As you can see, I've got plenty of harvesters. They're traveling all the way to these distant fields to try to harvest and getting themselves killed. And I'm out of money again. You'll notice this video is pretty long, and this is why, is just that I keep running out of money. So it's very important. You could probably, I'm not sure exactly what triggers those elite cyborgs, but you could probably attack those bio-research labs before they spawn and destroy them, and that might prevent them from spawning and make the mission quite a bit easier. One thing you'll notice is that my Nod MCV in the south got destroyed by Apaches finally, So I'm going to have to do some rebuilding from that.
Harvester is under attack. Unit ready.
But
Lost.
those Cyborg prototypes just arrived at the north, and as you can see, they're making short work of my defenses.
Your harvester is under attack. Structure sold.
Yeah, they're all...
Lost.
When they... Cyborgs essentially have 2 lives. When they die the first time, they become legless, and then... and regain a little bit of health. As you can see, only 1 is legless. Now there's 4. But really, the only thing that saved me here were my super weapons. And low power. Now there's only 2 left, and I have enough chem warriors and rockets. This is what I meant about if your rockets become the last line of defense. Many of them will be elite from the Apaches, and it makes them pretty good. But low power is definitely one thing you want to avoid in this mission if you're using AGTs, as they rely on power and are kind of a very important line of defense.
Unit lost. Insufficient funds.
But yeah, I just barely survived that. Now I'm back to where I was like 10 minutes ago. I only have that blue Tiberium field to my name, and I have no money, no power, and lost my not MCV.
On hold. Building.
I have several tech structures that I could sell for more money, but if I did that, I would lose the tech, and I'd have to rebuild them since I lost my MCV.
Reporting. Unit reporting. Unit reporting. Unit reporting. Awaiting orders.
So for now, I'm waiting for enough money to come in that I can start rebuilding. I still have enough units to defend my base against these reds, but I'm just trying to do something with my stealth units that are around. Make sure I don't die. You know, if I just instantly tried expanding to my bases again, they'd probably get destroyed again because I couldn't afford defenses.
Building.
So
Cancelled.
I lost my exo power suit since it was in that northwest base.
Reporting. Reporting. Ready and waiting.
Our base is under attack.
Reporting. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Building.
Ready and waiting. Reporting. Reporting. Waiting order. Waiting order. Waiting order. Reporting.
Insufficient funds.
Ready and waiting. Awaiting order. Unit report. Unit reporting. Waiting orders. Waiting order. Unit report. Waiting order. Waiting orders. Moving affirmative. Moving unit report. Waiting orders. Waiting order. Waiting order. Waiting order.
Ion
Unit
cannon
reporting.
ready. Select
Waiting
target.
orders. Waiting orders. Reporting. Reporting. Waiting order. Unit report. Waiting order. Waiting order. Unit reporting. Reporting. Unit reporting.
So that ion cannon was kind of wasted since it didn't kill that MCV and it went straight to the repair bay. I should have waited for my nuke
Nuclear
and used the
warhead
combo.
available. Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And there went all my stealth tanks. I only have 3 left now.
Select target.
So I'm just trying to get rid of some of these forces that are lying around so that when I attack, I won't have as much to deal with.
Reporting.
Not
And now I got a little bit of money, got a couple harvesters,
construction complete.
delivered their goods, and I'm crawling back to the north. I use basic power plants here. Silos are also an option, but they have less hit points, and power is very important for powering the AGTs. So by using power plants, it ensures that I have enough power to defend my expansion base when I put up some towers.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Insufficient funds.
So as you can see, the Nod base has an MCV, and you'll remember that I destroyed their MCV earlier. But because they have 2 airfields, when I destroy their MCV, they rebuild 2. So you can see one moved up to the north and redeployed there, and then the other one never deployed. And then right now they have 3 because I destroyed one of their other MCVs.
Ion cannon ready.
One of their mobile ones, I think. Or just when I damaged that one, it might have went ahead and produced a new one from that.
Select target.
Yeah, I'm kind of wasting my super weapons, just trying to soften up for an attack, but I'm not really ready for an attack yet. I need to be focused on defense, make sure I don't lose after putting this much time into the game, into this run. And taking out the production structures would be better for me in the long run.
Select target. Construction complete. Cannot deploy here.
So yeah, I kind of played this in a cheesy way by using those stealth tanks to take out the Temple of Nod. If you were to play it normally, you would have to expand while defending your base. So constantly be producing more tanks,
Insufficient funds.
advanced guard towers, grenade launchers, whatever you need to destroy the attacking waves, and also expand to get more economy, defend those expansions,
Unit ready.
and just keep building your army so that you can keep up with their increasingly powerful attack waves and not, have enough army that you don't lose much.
Unit ready.
So artillery are good for that. If you have a bunch of artillery behind a tank line, allows you to deal a lot more DPS.
Building.
And basically, once you have enough, you'd push forward with an attack wave while leaving enough behind to still defend your base and try to get some damage done.
Ion cannon ready.
But destroying that southeast base, I mean, early on, it will definitely help because it also produces units. I believe mostly infantry, red infantry, and they'll make the attack waves. They'll make it even harder to defend your base. So I'm finally starting to get some money again from this middle green field, so I'm expanding north again. Once again, I'm not doing very well at defending it. I should be
Construction complete.
putting up some advanced guard towers already.
Construction complete. Construction complete. Unit ready. Construction complete. Nuclear weapon available.
You'll see I just built a transport, and the reason for that is I'm planning on retaking that north base again and hoping that more cyborgs don't spawn.
Insufficient funds. Unit ready.
So I've rebuilt my exo power suit and the illuminator and the cyborg prototype. Cyborg prototype is veteran, but I'd like it to get to elite.
Unit ready.
Elite cyborg prototype is a lot more powerful than the veteran
Building.
one.
Unit ready.
Unit reporting.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
So I'm picking up my stealth APC so I can use it to transport them.
Unit ready.
Engineering. Reporting.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Reporting.
Unit ready.
Awaiting order.
Building. Building. Our base is under attack.
So you can see I also queued up a runway to be built. That's because I want to build A10 Warthogs, and that will allow me to pick off structures where there is no anti-air for free
Cancel.
without sacrificing my other defending units. The A10 Warthogs are also pretty good against the infantry waves. In one of my attempts, I tried using A10s to attack those black infantry waves, which is risky because there's rocket launchers in there, but they were pretty good at destroying them. It's just very difficult to keep the A10s alive.
Insufficient funds.
And they're pretty expensive, so you don't want them dying.
Ion cannon ready.
But those two middle bases, one of them is already destroyed, but the other one, once it's scouted, I can destroy with A10s.
Your
And
harvester
anywhere else where I've got the anti-air cleared away.
is under attack. Your harvester is under attack. Your harvester is under
Super weapon combo is ready. You can see they've got MCVs lying around, but I don't see one built anywhere.
Unit ready.
And that was the end of their airstrip. I'm pretty sure they have two, but I don't see it revealed in Shroud yet.
Awaiting order. Waiting order. Affirmative. Reporting. Affirmative.
Your harvester is under attack. Unit ready. Construction
Unit
complete. Your harvester is under attack. Unit lost. Your harvester is under attack. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Waiting order.
Your harvester is under attack. Unit lost. Unit lost.
As you can see, these 3 Cyborg prototypes are problematic
Repairing.
if you don't have defenses
Unit
at that north base. Would have been better if I didn't have to worry about those and I could focus all my forces on these red units here.
insufficient funds. Repairing. Insufficient funds.
The Cyborg prototype is an excellent unit. It's very good when you need a cost-effective, powerful unit because it can heal itself on Tiberium or any other debris. So as you can see here, and it's elite, and instead of having to spend cash to heal it up, I can just move it to my resource field and let it heal there. So I'm going to continue using my super weapons to take out these MCVs. The Hand of Nod is also in sight, and those can be destroyed with one nuke.
Unit repaired.
That time the AI didn't decide to automatically heal its MCV, so I chose to use my ion cannon on the higher health MCV, which would still be destroyed in one shot.
Yes, sir. Ready and waiting. Reporting.
Repairing. Insufficient funds.
So now that I've destroyed all of my...
Repairing.
I'm not sure where the second
Unit
airstrip was,
repaired.
maybe there isn't one, but I seem to have destroyed them all, and now it is producing nothing but infantry.
Yes, sir.
And it looks like it's time for me to take my base. So these cyborgs, or these, not cyborgs, but these silos have been a very lucrative object for me. I've been eyeing them for a while on this because they are full, and when you capture them, you get all the money that's inside of them. So as you can see, I went from 0 to 8,000 credits, just like that. and I can build a barracks off of that and build more engineers, capture the rest of the base. There's 3 refineries,
Building selected.
1 blue tree and 2 green trees. Definitely a lot of resources.
Building.
Still 7 silos, now 6 that I haven't captured.
Unit ready.
As you can see, I'm capturing them while the harvesters are inside of them. That's because if you capture it while the harvester is not in, you do not get the harvester. But if you capture it while the harvester is docked, then you get the harvester.
Your harvester.
And harvesters cost 1,400 credits, I believe, so that can save you quite a bit of money.
Our base is under attack. Your harvester is under attack.
So yeah, now I'm trying to harvest and there's enemy units nearby.
Construction complete. Building captured.
My guard towers were attacking the harvesters that I wanted to capture for myself and stuff like that.
Nuclear weapon available.
But yeah, now I got over 10,000 credits, so money is not an issue right now.
Your harvester is under attack.
And
Select target.
now I have enough to fund mass mammoth tanks to help me finish the mission.
Unit ready.
Engineering moving out.
Unit ready.
Input directed.
Building captured. Building captured.
Open.
Your harvester is under attack.
Report
Building
knowledge.
captured. Your harvester is under attack.
Reporting. Ready and wait. Ready and wait. Comlink open.
Construction complete. Building
So I
captured.
got my weapons factory there, so I can produce mammoths right next to my enemy's base.
Harvester is under attack.
Attack from multiple sides.
Unit ready.
As you can see, I lost my north refinery again
Unit
Um,
ready.
due to not having defenses.
Construction complete.
But I have the money to rebuild it pretty easily now.
Building. Construction complete. Construction complete.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Waiting on knowledge.
Building captured.
Comlink open. Ready.
Building captured. Unit ready. Building captured.
Comlink.
Construction complete. Unit ready. Building.
So for the first time in this mission, I'm producing the new grenade launchers. They're pretty good, especially because they have a pretty long range,
Unit ready.
longer than the base grenadier. And they're good against both infantry and vehicles.
Unit ready.
And due to having the non-armor type, they're more resistant to
Unit
tanks,
ready.
but more vulnerable to things like flame tanks. But because of their range, they can actually stay behind your tank forces, unlike regular grenadiers,
Construction
and especially riflemen, flamethrowers, and chem warriors, stuff like that.
nuclear weapon available. Select target.
So this Hand of Nod is going to go bye-bye now. You never saw the nuke fall there because the cell it was targeting was under the shroud.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Waiting. Reporting.
So it hit the entire nuke because of that.
Reporting. Reporting. Waiting on unit. Waiting.
But yeah. Now we just
Insufficient funds.
going to attack and take over the rest of this base.
Unit ready.
And I'm saving the village for last, but that's because I didn't think there was any benefit to rescuing it first, but I'm pretty sure capturing it will stop those 3 cyborg groups from spawning, so I would recommend doing that sooner rather than later. There's very little resistance in that village. You just had to get past the one outpost and you can send an attack in and take it out. Not take out the village, but all the enemy units in the village.
Reporting. Waiting. Unit reporting.
Construction complete.
Reporting.
New construction options. Building.
Ready and waiting.
Probably the main disadvantage of grenadiers is They are not immune to Tiberium, and there's no way to heal them unless you get them to elite, and they'll regenerate up to only half health. So like my mammoth tanks regenerate to half health, and you can repair them on a repair bay if they get low, but the grenadiers are just kind of more throwaway units in comparison. They're fast, kind of like the base grenadier.
On hold.
I've now broken into the main base, and there's the second hand of Nod coming in now. So if I take that out, they will have nothing but airfields producing. As you can see from all those Apaches, Apaches are mostly what they're building now. And I have no anti-air at this base. Well, I have the advanced guard towers, but they're taking out my harvesters now.
Unit ready. Our base is under attack. Insufficient funds. Structure sold. Unit lost. Construction complete. Output going through. Unit lost. Unit lost. Your harvester is under attack. Unit lost. Your harvester is under attack. Unit lost. Your harvester is under attack. Building. On hold. Unit ready.
So I'm just whittling away at this base,
Ready. Unit lost.
trying not to lose too many mammoths. One thing I learned from DTA, it's very easy to underestimate the strength of your opponent's defenses. It's very easy to push your base with a whole bunch of mammoths and end up with none left. And if you're especially unlucky, then you won't even destroy enough to prevent them from rebuilding.
Select target. Ion cannon ready. Select.
So now I'm targeting on power because in order to try to preserve as many units as possible, I'd like to shut off the power to those obelisks of light. And because of the pavement on this area, there's no debris spawning from these destroyed structures, and my cyborg has nothing to heal up with.
Unit ready. Unit lost.
Reporting.
Unit lost.
But the enemy has no production structures left, so there's absolutely nothing it can do except send those 3 cyborg groups to finish me off, which they won't be able to do.
Unit ready.
I've got my 3 A-10 Warthogs finished now, so I'll start sending them on airstrike missions. Mission isn't over until every enemy Nod unit is destroyed, so just gotta take everything out. Finally got the obelisks to power off. So there's nothing left to cause damage here, except if I destroy their power consuming structures, they might get power back. And that's exactly what happened. That one obelisk is online again. Don't know where this mammoth was going, but he scouted this small base for me.
Ion cannon ready. available. Select target.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Waiting orders.
Building. Unit ready. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Affirmative. Unit
Unit ready.
moving out.
Unit ready.
Unit reporting.
One handy trick when you're dealing with A10 warthogs is to create these waypoint loops. What that will allow you to do is you can use one runway and refill all 3 A10 warthogs. Also works with helicopters up to any number. But allows you to send your A10s out more frequently, even if you only have one runway available.
Unit lost.
It also causes the A10 warthogs to fly around in circles whenever they're not refilling, which makes them invulnerable to nukes and any land-based weapons. As you can see from that strike right there, A10s are pretty good against these cyborg groups, especially when they're bunched up and all on the same cell.
Our base is under attack. Unit lost.
But now that I have 3 airfields, there's no point really using the waypoints that I set up.
Building. Repairing.
Well, you could still set the waypoints to have one waypoint on each runway, and then they'll still refuel quickly, but they'll also stay in the air when they're not refilling their ammo.
Ready.
And so that's still pretty beneficial because you can lose all 3 A10s to a single nuke in multiplayer or skirmish, and that's no fun
Unit ready.
when that happens. So
Unit ready.
I'm just taking out this outpost, and all that's left after that is the village that needs rescued.
Unit ready.
I sent some units in there to scout it, and now I can basically bring all of my forces forward because it's nothing. Everything that will attack me is going to be coming through that one choke point, and these mammoths are blocking off that choke point right now.
Unit lost.
Except these guys are already on the field.
Unit lost.
But the Elite XO saves the day, as well as the A10 Warthogs.
Waiting order.
Repairing. Unit lost. Unit repairing.
Waiting order. Unit reporting. Unit reporting. Waiting order. Unit reporting.
So as you can see, there's only a handful of units in here that you need to take out in order to rescue the village.
Unit. Ready and waiting.
Link open.
Waiting orders. Unit reporting.
Mission.
And there we have it. So there is something you may encounter. When I beat it on easy and normal, I ran into this where after I destroyed the last structure, the mission wouldn't end. After about 5 minutes, it ended. So I'm not sure what the cause of that, but if you encounter that, then you just have to wait a little while and it should end. So yeah, that was Operation Curfew Breaker. I hope this tutorial will help you beat it on the hardest difficulty. It's a pretty good challenge, and I enjoyed it. Trying different things, trying to figure out what I could pull off to actually finish the mission. And I hope you enjoy it too.